Can we start with injuries? Quite a lot at the minute, particularly in defence. Can you tell us about who's fit and who might be playing at centre back?
Not telling you who will be playing. No. Now we got some, obviously, some knocks, some niggles, some injuries. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's something we got to deal with. We had to deal with George going off at Stoke, and Luke came on, did ever so well, and then went off. And then Neto played and again done well. So the two injuries to George and Luke, kind of from nothing. We just fell on top of Luke, and it's really innocuous and an unfortunate one. So we'll have to see how it settles down for Luke, really. And George is still fighting his way back. So it is what it is, We've had it at times during the time here. Sometimes injuries that you can do something about, or maybe have changed something. There's certain things where they're just thrown at you, and it's how and why you ask yourself. There's not really much you can do, and unfortunately that's where we found ourselves lately. But doesn't deter us, doesn't knock us off, and still looking forward to the next game and putting the team out there that we feel like we can win the game.
Whenever a team has a season with a lot of injuries, people start asking, is it something that you're doing at the club? Is it something to do with the way you train, the way you play, like how intense things are? Do you think there's anything like that? Are you looking at that as a possibility?
Not when you look at them injuries that we've had, no, it's impossible.
Yeah, just all sorts of different reasons. And
it's like it's knee, ankle, two ankles, it's impact injuries, it's one of those things. There's not much we can do about that.
Swansea up next. How are you feeling about that game? I don't think you've lost to them since you've been here, so don't know if that means anything. I'm sure you'll say it doesn't. No,
probably it doesn't really for me at this stage. I think Alan's taken over, and they've had two big performances, really, I think, and then being impressed the way they've played and two good results. So it's they've obviously got that bounce and that positivity, and they've got good players, and they're a good team, and it just kind of shows you this league how we can go both ways. We've seen it ourselves, and we'll expect a tough game. It'd be nice to see Lewis again, and he's settled in there and he's playing well for them, so that's good to see. And but yeah, we're looking forward to what we expect is a tough game again.
And after all the questions about where the season was heading and the difficult run you had, suddenly if you win this, could potentially be back in the playoff places again. That would be nice, I guess.
Yeah, of course it would be. It's what we're fighting for, It's where we find ourselves at the moment, and everything to play for. It's we got these 3 games before the international break, and then the finish to the season. So it's all there, It's pretty clear. It's just one result, and I say it a lot. One result's never going to change it and make the end kind of story what it's going to be. But as time goes by now, and the games come and the season comes closer to the end, then obviously becomes important. So it's an important time here for us.
The end of the season feels quite close now. I don't know if it's just really been a nice day, but do you feel like you've left yourselves too much to do? Do you think there's plenty of time to get in that playoff mix?
It's 2 points. It's nothing at this stage. If it was like this 2 weeks to go, you'd still have a big chance. So in terms of that though, the amount of points and where that it's even at this stage, it's about trying to win our own games, and picking up points as much as we can, and by and large, the rest of it sorts itself out. So I'm not one for counting, especially at this stage, and telling maybe if you get down to the last week or 2 games, maybe it's a bit different, but it's not quite there yet.
All right, thanks, Mike.
You go, Craig.
Just on Ben Doak, Michael, it's sensitive that this week he's had to undergo surgery. Can you tell us about that?
He's back at Liverpool doing a bit of rehab now, Ben, which is kind of, when it gets to that stage, it can be quite normal for that to happen. We've had it before with players, so he's back with Liverpool. So we'll see how that goes, and how long he's going to be out for. But at the moment, we'll have to wait and see.
When did that become evident that he was going to require surgery and it was going to be longer than you were hoping for?
Just quite recently, to be honest. He was doing his rehab, and then it come about. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for all of us, really. Certainly for us as a squad, for Ben personally, individually, to suffer that. But it's part of the game. It's part of it, and he'll be back. He'll be back stronger, and he'll be back soon enough.
Yeah. So just for clarity, was it a new issue, or was it just
No.
like a new the existing?
Yeah, it wasn't new.
No, yeah. And are you still hopeful that he could, come back and play some part this season, or is that kind of off the?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not. It's hard to say either way, to be honest, at this stage. As I said, he's back with Liverpool. They're going to look after his rehab initially and see how that goes, and we'll just see how it progresses from there. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got for you, really.
Yeah, I mean, I presume you have spoken with him. I mean, how is he?
Yeah. It's like all players. No, we've got some boys out injured at the moment. It's never nice when you're out injured. You want to be back. You want to be playing, but. It is part of the game, and it's something you got to manage in at any stage in your career. And rehab's rehab, and getting back on the pitch and trying to do that as soon as we can.
Yeah, and just on the other injuries, is anybody else close to the likes of Riley?
No, he's still on the grass again, doing the kind of stages of his rehab, so he's not quite back with us just yet.
Yeah, and Rav and Luke, do they have any chance for the weekend, or are they out for the weekend?
Yeah, probably very, very slim, to be honest.
Yeah, how far is Rav off? Is there any clear indication on where he is?
Yeah, we're still waiting to see, because we thought it might have been a lot worse at one stage. So we're still seeing where he's at, to be honest, and hopefully it won't be. Well, it might not be very long at all, but it might be a number of weeks. We're just trying to work things out at the moment and see where to take it.
Yeah, I mean, more positive injury news. Obviously, Johnny came back last week. I know you said there was no chance of him playing last week, but with another week of training, is he kind of getting closer?
Yeah, he's definitely closer, and he's been around the boys a bit more this week. As I said to you, it was more for his presence, his experience to be back in around it, and the number of subs that we can actually have on the bench to what we can use. It was worth having him on the bench, and he's done a bit more training this week, so it's a decision in terms of judgment that we've got to make, really, of when's the right time, in the balance between doing it too early and but when he's ready. So he's the model professional, Johnny. He's always lived his life, and he leaves, he's an example to training and preparation and looking after himself. He gives himself every chance, so it's great to have him back in around it.
Yeah, I know you've touched on this previously, the fact that you suffered similar at the end of your career, where you hadn't had many injuries, and then at the end it came. I mean, from you watching him with that kind of relatability, how impressive is it that he still has the kind of hunger and desire that he does?
Yeah, it is. I think that's it. You've either got it or you haven't, and it's kind of natural. And it tells you where you're at, really, in terms of your career and what you've still got to give and what you feel if that. And towards the end, for me, I knew it was time, and that was just a natural thing that came. And sometimes you get it earlier than others, but Johnny's certainly got that fire. You can see it. He's desperate to be back and helping us and being around the boys. So it's great to see, and it's great to see that he's still got that. And he's definitely got everything to play for still.
Yeah, when you knew it was time, what was it that kind of made you realise that it was time, and was it hard to process? Because I imagine it is. No,
it wasn't, to be honest. I think it just naturally came to that point where time for me was time. Probably lost that real that spark, if you like. My body was telling me that it was becoming a bit more of a struggle, and it just one of those, and just accepted it. It wasn't a big one moment where I thought that's it, it's over. It just kind of happened, and I was fine with it. I was lucky enough to do it kind of on my own terms in the end, and don't really know why I'm talking about my retirement and playing, but so sometimes that happens. Johnny's different, he's that fire's burning, as I said, and he's raring to go again.
Yeah, just on Hayden, he recently made his 100th appearance for the club. I mean, still relatively young, really, but to reach that milestone says a lot about what he's achieved in the last years. Yeah,
and H himself, especially last season, had a couple of times periods out and towards the end of the season. But it just shows you how consistent he's been, really, since I've been here, 2.5 years or so, whatever it is. And he's played, pretty much all the way through when he's been fit, and his performance, his consistency with younger players is not always easy to get, and he's in a really good place at the moment. You can see that he looks fit, he looks strong, he's playing with a lot of confidence and playing with a lot of responsibility as well. You know, the way he plays and he takes a lot on his shoulders, the way he plays the game and puts himself out there, which is great for me to see, and the way he expresses himself, and it means an awful lot to him playing for this club as well. You know, it's what he knows, it's all he knows. So, but yeah, to play that many games so young is great. He's obviously got a lot more to come throughout his career.
Yeah, you talk about that responsibility that he carries in the midfield. Is that something that he kind of, you know, naturally brings on himself, or is that something you've tried to, you know, kind of work with him on and coach into him?
No, a bit of both really, and more, not so much work with him. I think it's just letting him take it on and encouraging him, if anything, to go and do what he's good at. You know, it's quite easy at times as a coach or a manager to kind of keep a lid on it a little bit and be careful doing that and watch what you're doing that, but it's he's kind of learning, and he's learnt on the job really, and a bit of trial and error, and give him that opportunity to make mistakes at times and learn from it, and yeah, I just think he's in a good place at the moment, and his football, he's playing well, and he's adding to his game all the time, you know, and within that, the better he becomes. He's obviously played and he's been captain quite a few times, in that responsibility just naturally kind of comes and evolves as you kind of progress through the stages really.
Yeah. Just finally from me, we touched on, you know, the end of the season being nigh and the run in now. Just, I think for us it's probably an exciting time. You can see the end, you can see what needs to be done, etc. Do you feel that as players and as a coaching team, do you get that same kind of excitement about the run in?
Yeah, of course we do. I think it's that sense of potential achievement, and it's that target really at the end that we're all want to achieve something and be successful, and there is that natural spark, and that when you get to a certain stage and it's all to play for, and you know what's at stake. So yeah, without doubt, it's still, you know, there's the side where we've got a job to do, and we've got to be in the right place to be able to do that, but there's no getting away from the beauty of football and sense of achieving and winning, and you got to roll with that, and you got to feed off it.
Just one more on Johnny. Mike, I know you've touched on it previously, but he's clearly a very safe option for you at centre half when he's fully up to speed. He's played there plenty of times before. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. He's played there plenty of times before me, and he's played there enough since I've been here as well. And he reads the game fantastically well, and it comes quite natural to him, to be honest. So yeah, again, it's another option for us if we can get him back as quickly as possible, really.
I know you said obviously you don't want to say what the defence is going to be, but if Neto plays centre half, then it's probably, or could be a chance for Ryan at left back. How's he been over the last few weeks? Because it must have been frustrating, difficult for him to come in, start, then lose his place again. When I can imagine he was desperate to come back and hit the ground running.
Yeah, I thought Ryan came back actually. The Sunderland game, played really, really well in that Sunderland game, and obviously the own goal that ended up happening was, I thought the performance from him was really good. So I think there's an element of getting back in, settling in as well, and finding his way in terms of not everyone was here when he was here, and we can get kind of remember that he has been here before, but it's largely, you know, there's quite a few different players, so settling in, finding his way, getting used to it again, and yeah, he come on the other day again. He's in a good place, and really looking forward to him, you know, playing and having a good end to the season and doing exactly what we know we can do.
Did you have to rebuild his confidence at all when he came here? He'd said when we sat down with him when he signed, and he said that he just felt like a good fit with the club and with you here last time. Had you noticed a difference at all in him? Had his confidence taken a hit? 'Cause it'd been a difficult 18 months.
I think naturally players, you know, you do kind of go up and down at times with confidence and how things go, and it's a lot easier when it's everything's coming naturally, and that's just normal, you know, that's part of it, and we're here to help him and look after him, and he's a big part of the squad and big part of the team. So as I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing him play and play well, and however that much is before now and the end of the season. It's I've got no worries about him whatsoever.
You said there that because of the nature of the injuries, it's not something where you can really look at and think, well, we maybe shouldn't have done this there or shouldn't have done that there. But that must make it extra frustrating for you, really, in a way, that can't really have helped it. It's just misfortune.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of last season. We played Preston and Johnny and Hayden both done the knee in the same about 5 minutes apart. 2 tackles that, and that was one of them. So what do? You got to tackle, and so it's for some reason little clusters have happened at times for us to deal with in similar positions. So, but yeah, the game is the game, and for whatever reason these have happened over the last week or two, and just something we got to deal with. There's no point dwelling on it to that stage. We can assess it. What could we have done? Could we help? Could we not? Move on, learn from it. Sometimes you just got to bounce on and make the most of what's next. That's where we're at.
And I know we've talked about this before, but with Ben, regardless of whether he plays again this season, it's been quite a high profile, his success here this season, really, which would only benefit you in the summer, I would imagine.
Yeah, maybe. He's had a really good time here, Ben. I think he's settled in. It was a good fit both ways. He said it from the start, in terms of his position and how we play and the amount of times he'd receive the ball where he wanted it. I think it was just a good fit, and you can see he's improved an awful lot as a player as well, and had success with Scotland. So I think that side of things he's definitely developed, and it's been a good experience for him. And we'll see what's next. Hopefully we can get him back soon enough. We'll just have to wait and see. But come the summer, who knows? But I think we've done all right with players coming in and trying to improve them. We want to use that to improve the team and take the club forward as much as anything as well. So there's always a balance with that.
So I was going to say, you must, you point to Morgan and now Ben. If you're trying to sign a player, be it permanent or temporary, when you can show they were here when they joined and they were there when they left, it's bound to have an impact.
Yeah, maybe. We just try to do the work, and it is a balance. Obviously, you get loan players at certain times if it's the right fit, and it can work both ways. Of course, we got to have that focus as well and making it work for us and making the club stronger and improving that. But it's definitely two sides to it. I do enjoy helping the boys in development and seeing them grow and become better players, and yeah, hopefully most of the time that's with us.
And just ask about the event last night, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was great. I think obviously went down with Tommy and H, and I think it was just nice to get in and around the fans a bit closer, really, and hopefully for them to see what it means to us and me as a coach and the players of we're just like everybody else. We love the game, we love the club, we're trying to do everything we can, and I really enjoyed it. A lot of younger generation there as well, asking questions and good questions, and even seeing some dance moves as well. So it was a good night, a really good night, and that connection between us and the fans is massively important, and it's going to have a huge impact on Saturday and beyond, and the end of the season. We got to create and keep building on what we got in the moment, because it can be quite powerful when we get it right.